Hey guys, Jake here with Unreal RPG Mastery. This video is the second part of the player character tutorials for Advanced ARPG Combat. This combat is available for sale on the Unreal Engine Marketplace. Link will be in the description below. In this tutorial, we're going to cover changing the player combat animations. To add player combat action animations, go to the Combat Montages data table. You can add different animations for each combat type for every action in the combat. So the first thing we need to do is open up the Combat Montages data table. So go to Advanced ARPG Combat folder, Combat System, Data Tables, Combat Montages data table. Here you can see that we have a row for each combat type. In each combat type you can specify different action montage animations. So first let's add some unarmed combat animations. To do that, we can go to Action Montages. Under Action Montage, here you can see we already have an action added for light attack. Let's go ahead and delete that so we can set it up from scratch. To add a new action montage, go under Action Montages here and add a new map element. Here you can select from a list of action montages. So I'm going to go ahead and select light attack. So this is the action that's going to happen whenever I press the left mouse button. Here under Action Montages, we need to add array elements. You need to add one array element for every attack in the combination. So I think I want this one to have 4 array elements. So 4 attacks in this combination. Here you expand this and you can specify some parameters. We're going to need to add an montage. You can add a montage action name. You can specify the play rate, end time to start montage at, and start section name. All these do exactly what they say. So this is the montage action name. You can check it and write some code based on what this montage action name is. You can specify the play rate. If you want the montage to start at a certain time, then you can specify that here. If you want the montage to start at a certain section, you can specify it here. However, there is something I wanted to note about start section and end time to start montage at. End time to start montage at works for most actions in the combat. However, there are only certain actions which start section names work for. If the action works for start section name, then it won't work for end time to start montage at, and if it works for end time to start montage at, it won't work for start section name. Start section names only work for actions that call the try-play and a montage function. This is only for low priority montages. I will tell you every action in the combat that is lower priority, so you will know which action a montage start section will work for. The low priority montages that start sections will work for are charge attack, sit down, consume item, weapon art charge, equip and unequip weapon, enter punisher mode, and exit punisher mode. Now let's add our unarmed attack montages. So here are the animations that I'm going to use. Just right click, we're going to create a montage. Now all you need to do is click on the montage, go back to the data table and select it here, or you can search for it here if you want to. So 0 will be the first attack in the combination, 1 will be the next attack in the combination, so I'm going to choose which attack I want to be next. This one will be just fine. Okay, for the third attack in the combination, I'm going to add this one. I'm going to add one more attack. This one's going to be a kick. Before we can test it out, we need to remove the weapon that we gave him in the last video, so go to the Blueprints folder, RPG Game Mode. Now select Equipped Items and delete the sword. Okay, now let's test it out. So as you can see, what's happening is the first attack is working, but none of the other attacks are working in the combination. And the reason why that is because we need to save the input for the next attack in the combination chain. To do that, we need to go open up the attack montage, the first one. Now we need to add some animation notifies. We're going to need about 4 animation tracks. The first animation notify that we're going to need is rotate character notify state. This will allow the character to rotate while you're attacking. So just start it and have the character rotate for however long you want. You can adjust that to your preferences. When you select rotate character notify state, you can go over here to the details panel and you can adjust the rotation interp speed. To save the next input for the attack combination chain, we need to add notify state, and we need to add the input buffer notify state. You should adjust the input buffer to begin as soon as you want the character to be committed to his attack, and it should end whenever you want the character to begin his next action. I think I want him to be committed to the attack at this point, and by this point I want him to start the next action. Okay, now we need some hit detection. So in order to do that, we need to add notify state. We need the unarmed attack collision notify state. Since this is unarmed attack, you want this to begin as soon as he starts swinging his fist for the attack, and as soon as he finishes, you want it to end. Now once you've done that, you have to click on the unarmed attack notify state. Under the details panel, you need to specify the attack type. Is it a right hand punch, left hand punch, right foot kick, or left foot kick? Right now he's doing a right hand punch, so go ahead and select right hand punch. If you want to play like a sound effect of swinging in the air, you can play that here. You can select your sound. Sometimes animations can have a lot of ending frames, like this one. So if you want to get rid of those ending frames, what you can do is just go to a point where you want to end the montage, right click, Add notify, under skeleton notifies, type in stop montage, add stop montage, and here the montage will stop. And those are all the required animation notifies for unarmed combat attacks. So let's go ahead and test that out again and see what happens. As you can see, he now plays the next attack in the combination chain. So what we can do now is highlight all these animation notifies, right click, select copy, and paste them in all these attacks in the combination chain and adjust them accordingly. Okay, now that you've added all the required animation notifies to all these attacks, let's test it out and see what happens. As you can see, attacking works and attack movement works. I will rotate towards the character while attacking. Okay, now let's add heavy attacks. To add heavy attacks, find your heavy attack montages that you want to use, and create anim montages out of them. Okay, now open up your heavy attack montage. Add the required notifies by pasting them here and adjust them accordingly. Okay, after you've done that, go back to the Combat Montages data table under Unarmed Combat. Go ahead and add a new map element. You need to go ahead and select Heavy Attack. Now we need to add one array element for each attack in the combination that we want. I'm only going to use 2. Okay, now let's test it out. To perform a heavy attack, hold shift while pressing left mouse button. So now we got light attack and heavy attack. Works just fine. Now let's add animations for idle to fists and fists to idle. To do that, we need to find our animations. Now we need to create montages out of them. Now go back to Combat Montages data table under Unarmed Combat. We need to add a new map element. Okay, now the action for this needs to be equip. We need to add another map element, and this one needs to be unequip. Add one array element to each. Now select your idle to fist animation. Select that for equip. For unequip, we need fist to idle montage. Let's test that out. Press R to enter combat mode, and R again to exit it. To change the unarmed combat idle animations, open up the animation blueprint. In the anim graph, find the section labeled Unarmed Combat, and delete the current Unarmed Combat idle animation. Now get your new fist Unarmed Combat animation, drag that into the animation blueprint, and plug it into blend pose 0 for Unarmed Combat. Okay, now let's test it out. Okay, everything's working properly. Okay, now that we have Unarmed Combat set up properly, I'm going to end the video here. In the next part, we're going to cover changing combat animations for combat types with weapons. We're also going to go over how to set up other combat actions such as other attack types that are included in the system.